Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. My Time today is the program you're listening to. And this morning, we're looking at standardization of trucks as it relates to shipment of goods across Nigeria. All right, traffic is busy, I understand, at Antonio K. Inwards Bagada. We have a broken down, loaded 40-feet container laden truck there. This is at Northwest Filling Station, Inwards Bagada. Also adding to the mix in terms of your travel advice within that area. The truck, I understand, has a rear tire problem, so it's kind of removed. So owner is working on it at this time. Okay, so even as we reflect on this, of course, you heard from the Southwest chairman of Nupeng there, talking about some of the challenges confronting as they ship goods. They are majorly involved in transporting wet cargo. All right, but let's look at the enforcement component of that. And joining me right now to reflect on this is Mala Jesutomipe, who is the Public Enlightenment Officer for the Federal Road Safety Corps here in Lagos. Nice to have you, Mala. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
All right, good morning. So you heard the Southwest chairman of the bank there talking about enforcement, and that is where you guys come in. So before they take off from those loading points, tell me, are your men always there to ensure that they adhere to some of these safety standards?
Okay, the Federal Road Safety Corps at some point noticed that there is a need to be at the tank farms. Many a time we have crashes on the road, and we said, okay, instead of just standing on the road to arrest these people, to impound their vehicle, let's get to the source of the problem. Let's go to the main source of it. So the Corps Marshal actually made this happen, and then officers were sent to all these tank farms, different companies, and then we have our men all over, trained officers. They were actually trained on all these things to know what to check in a truck or before they leave the tank farm.
Okay.
So when our men get there, definitely they have the requirements. They have the things they need to check.
Right.
First, they have to check the vehicle. The driver himself must be very, very sound because he's the one moving the goods.
Right.
Without the driver, even if you have billions of nairas of goods and then the driver is not in a sound mind, you might not get to your destination.
Definitely.
So we check the driver for driving under influence. We ensure the driver has is like driver's license, a valid license. And then to that effect, I know at some point that the FRSA had to take a driver's license center to Nupeng because, one of the complaints they had was their men having the time to come to different centers, and then when they get there, they get delayed.
Okay.
And so we had to take a center to them. Okay, if that is what you want. So we took a center to them, and so it's easy for them to get their driver's licenses now.
Right.
So we check their license, we ensure their vehicles are in good.
Well, in that process, don't we have some form of compromise?
No, we don't. We don't have compromise.
Are you very sure of this?
Very, very sure. Before you can even get a license as a commercial driver, you must have had a license before. You must have had an existing license before you can get a commercial driver's license. As a first-time driver, you cannot get a commercial driver's license. Yes. So we also check their tires, we check the vehicle, and then we check the loading capacity. Like I know Mr. Tire was talking about the loading capacity, and these are the things we check.
I'm going to come to that because I know that that has been a source of argument all the while while we're having overloading and that kind of thing.
There's something we have noticed that is causing this overloading, I think. Like many times when these tankers actually when they do the right thing from the source, when they move to the road, where
something
the
else
officials, anything could have gone.
Do you think there is transloading on the road that makes that happen, or what do you think would have happened?
It's actually not impossible. This is Nigeria.
It's
not impossible, I can say that. So anything could have happened along the line. And of course, our men cannot be everywhere.
Right.
At the point where we are checking, we make sure we check everything we are supposed to have. And before any tanker would actually leave the tank farm, we would have ascertained that, okay, you are good to go. And if you are not good to go, such a tanker will not be allowed to leave.
Okay, well, you just heard him say now that it appears they do not see overloading as an offense, and that the Federal Road Safety and other law enforcement agencies, they've not brought it out to say, well, if I'm carrying 45,000, it's not an offense yet. If you make it an offense, then we will comply.
I take exceptions to that. Even Mr. Tayo knows so well that FRSA has never closed its eye towards overloading. Let me take you back to the crash that happened at Otedola a few years ago.
Right.
That claimed a lot of lives and, of course, vehicles also. The truck in question was supposed to carry 33,000, and we learned that the truck had 66,000.
That's right.
So it was carrying like double of the weight of the capacity it could carry. Obviously, it couldn't climb the hill.
That's right. Even last Saturday, we still had one around the Bagada corridor, which fell on that part of the road and just carrying 45,000 liters. Yes, against
the 33, or I don't know what the capacity was. So those are the things, those are the excesses we are checking for.
So, and that's what we're saying. I mean, he's still making that clear that it's because they do not see it as contravening the law, because law enforcement agencies like yours have not been able to put it out there to say, well, carrying 45,000 is an overload.
That's not right to say. Everybody knows what we've been doing, and we've always frowned at overloading. Even on the program, the Operation Scorpion we are carrying out, I know we'll still talk about that. We have seriously frowned at overloading. Overloading is a no-no. And I know FRSA, we are really clamoring for the way bridge. Maybe when the way bridges are back, and then if the truck actually climbs the way bridge, you are carrying more than you expected, then you are going nowhere.
Right.
But it's to our own understanding, to the little we can do as a Federal Road Safety Corps, our men are the tank farms,
right,
and they are checking the requirements.
Let's go beyond the tankers now and talk about the container laden trucks as well, because those ones go into the ports, they come out of the ports, they carry cargo, dry cargo, as the case may be. And a lot of times we still have infractions with them on the road. The other time we had a whole trailer, falling off the bridge at Ojulegba back in 2015 or so.
September.
All right. So that tells you that a lot of things are wrong, and a lot of times fingers are pointed at the enforcement agencies. What would be your response to that?
Well, I remember that 2015 was one of the things that brought about the tank farm, like when our people had to go to all these tank farms. Now, talking about the dry cargo, according to the National Road Traffic Regulation 151 of the 2012 NRTR, it says all articulated vehicles containers must be well latched.
Okay.
Now, something we have discovered is that due to selfish interests of some of these trucks at times, they decide not to latch their containers. You can actually latch a container here. There's a way you can hook it, and it will hold very well to the flat body of the truck, and then your container won't be able to fall. But most of them at times, they will rather not latch the container to the flat body. So if there is a crash, the container alone will fall, and leaving the flat body and then the driver parts, they will be safe. The head will be safe, and then the flat body will be safe.
Okay, so is that a risk protection mechanism? Is that
for themselves? Well, it's a selfish one, knowing fully well that every other person on the road is at risk. So we are checking for these excesses. So on Monday, we started the second leg of the Operation Scorpion.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
What was the Operation Scorpion? What was it about?
Operation Scorpion is all about going back to the road to check for the excesses of these unlatched trucks.
Right.
And those are actually our targets. And then so far we started on Monday and we had a mobile court at Ojota Unit Command, and then
so how many vehicles were able to pick up on Monday?
Yes, on Monday we were able to pick up 46 vehicles.
46? Were they
yes,
trucks?
We have yes.
Okay.
So we had 46 offenders.
Wow.
We had a total of 75 offenses on that fateful day, and then we impounded about 46 vehicles.
Right.
And then the articulated vehicles that were booked, we had 34 articulated vehicles that were booked on Monday alone. And then because of the mobile court, we prosecuted 30.
Out of the
them.
34?
Yes.
All right,
and
so
the 29 were convicted.
Right, so what were the offenses that you cited?
Okay, the prevailing offenses, we had speed limiting device was one of those things. Many of them did not have the speed limiting device. Also, we had many of them driving under the influence of alcohol. We had dangerous driving is also included, and some didn't have even their vehicle papers. A lot of things like that were involved. Some even had bad tires. Tire is one of the things we also frowned so much at it. Some of these vehicles, they're supposed to have 8 tires, some are 16, and you see them with like half of the number of tires they are supposed to have. And you see that some are totally damaged and they do not care. And then the essence of having these good tires, if the white man felt 4 tires is okay, he would have made provision for 4 tires.
Right.
So, but if white man says, okay, have 8 tires, I think it's right for you to do the right thing. So the prevalence offenses have been dangerous driving under influence of alcohol, the TYY, that is your tires, and then the speed limiting device.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. My time today is the program, and we're dissecting truck standardization and enforcement of shipment of goods in Nigeria. A brief break. We'll be back, and of course, when we return, we'll hear from you. You can join the conversation as well on Maritime Today. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, still on Maritime Today. Do not forget, we told you that there's a broken down articulated vehicle just by Northwest Filling Station. This is inwards Bagada. If you're navigating on the Bagada Expressway, that corridor, you have that articulated vehicle with rear tire problem. Okay, so some of you are already reacting. By the way, you can join the conversation right now on 0809-912-0777. I have Mala Jesutomipe, Public Enlightenment Officer, Federal Road Safety Corps, right here in Lagos, and we're looking at we're dissecting truck standardization and enforcement of goods. Okay, then. You can join us right now. Hello there, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Victor.
Good morning. All right, Chief Ogunbemi, it's nice to have you join us because I know this is your area. So talk to me then.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to correct one impression, which I want the FRSC, police, and the public to take note of.
And what is that?
Whenever they are talking of container, the word lash never come out in container. We don't lash container in the whole world.
So what do you do?
Container. There is a device that grips the container with the truck, and we call it either case lock or container hook.
Okay.
So my own understanding of the word lash, the lashing is either a rope or a link or a shape that run across something from one end to the other.
Okay.
In that container, we don't lash from.
So you twist lock.
They shouldn't be using the word lash.
Okay.
And again, yes, the problem we're having in transport, in both environment, let me say, has to do with the fact that the system we are using has become obsolete. That is the truth.
Okay.
So we need to change the system. We need to at least look for a system that will be in tandem with the modern technology system to run the system, because the system is so full of human interference.
Right.
And any system that's full of human interference, favoritism will be there, preferential system will be there, so many things will take it.
Right.
And having said this, I also want to say that, apart from that, the environment, the infrastructure, the inadequacy of necessary infrastructure is one of the major problems, where there are accusations, counter-accusations, they blame trucker, blame driver, blame police, blame last man, blame everybody. Yes, the blaming, the accusation will continue, not until we are able to put the necessary infrastructure
in place. But let me bring this to you, Chief Ogunbemi. Let's talk about this. In July, we still had a trailer that was carrying container somewhere around the Ilasa corridor. The container fell off and fell on a vehicle and killed 3 people in the process. Okay? And people have talked about this, that a lot of times your drivers or perhaps the operators of such articulated vehicles, that twist lock which you mentioned right now, how come they do not put it in proper perspective such that it gets the container held to the flat body?
Well, I can only defend what is defendable. First and foremost, it breaks my heart. It's very disheartening when I had a situation like that. It touches my mind, because anything that involves lives especially is irreparable. And I must condemn what is condemnable. But however, I still want to say that we will continue to do our best. There are things that happen by accident. It is not deliberate. It is an accident, of which I know that the driver of the vehicle, it wasn't his intention that he want to take this out to go and crash it. Some accident maybe is as a result of the conditions of the road. I'm just saying this. Accidents occur almost everywhere.
But some have said that your drivers take that kind of action so that they protect themselves, more or less like a risk protection, so that the container falls off and they are free.
Well, let me be honest with you. Like I said, I will only defend what is defendable. About 3, 4, 5 years ago, coming to Papa, especially Wolf Road, the road was terribly bad, to the extent that, well, we now agree. Well, trucks for that area almost every day. 5 or more trucks will consider with 4. We now say, okay, instead of allowing the truck to be falling together with the container, when they were about passing those bad areas, well, sometimes they slow down.
So they twist the lock, right?
Yeah, they turn the lock so that if the container falls, container will not fall together with the truck. But immediately they left that back portion, they let that portion, then they put the twist lock again.
Okay, so
just for a safety device. But we have warned against that. We have warned against that. That one is no longer in practice, but formally it happened like that.
Okay,
it's not happening like that again.
Okay.
Also that the road is now okay. Then, as I was saying...
No, let me let you go. Because of time, we have to let you go. Thank you so much for your call. I know we have some reactions also on the WhatsApp. Let me see if we can take that right away. Shade, what do we have here?
Okay, let me start with this coming from Solomon. Good morning, Mr. Victor. These tanker people cannot be blamed. You can see the way he answers your question. So blame the government. If we have government on ground, they will know that these people need iron hand.
Okay.
Thanks, Solomon. Let's see. All right, this is from Busayo.
Right.
She's at Abulegba. The man is not serious. There's a law against overloading already, which VIO, FRS, and other agencies enforce. I don't know why the leadership of these trucks and container drivers will ask government to provide a truck park for them. They are operating their private business, for God's sake.
Right.
If we all decide to operate our private business on state-shared assets, there will be problem.
All right, then. Okay, let's leave it at that because of time.
I really need to respond to what you
Yes,
said.
please do.
You know, I was very specific when I was using my words. I used the word twist hook. I didn't say you latch containers. I said twist hook. I think I was very deliberate about that.
All right.
And you can twist hook the container and still latch the container to ensure that you have a firm grip.
Okay. So
And let me just give you examples of the latched ones, and I was still going to talk about that. Like when you see people carrying pipes, when you're carrying dry cargo, you can carry metals,
Right.
pipes, and all these things are exposed. Some people carry generators, and then when you see the way they carry them, you see the people that do the right thing, you see the latch actually over the mat and the equipment to the other side in order to have the firm grip.
Right.
And exactly the point I raised about these drivers being selfish, that they choose to protect themselves and they let the container fall. I'm glad he even actually made mention of that.
Right.
All these things are still there.
Okay,
so
so-
if the driver failed to twist hook, he has also failed to latch.
Right.
Because he didn't do what he was supposed
So
to do.
in taking this home this morning, Mala, what would be your advice, and how can we ensure that we do not have this kind of carnage on our roads anymore, this kind of crashes that occur on a regular basis as they ship goods across the country?
The truth is, safety is a personal decision. Safety is an attitude. You don't need anybody. You don't need the security personnel. You don't need somebody on uniform to tell you the right thing. Everybody knows what the right thing is. And I think it's high time we start taking responsibility for every action we make. Everybody knows what the right thing is.
Right.
The truck driver knows he's supposed to have a driver's license, which is the legal document that permits him to drive on the road. But he chooses not to hold the driver's license because it's by choice.
All right.
So when we have the right attitude to the road, it makes things better.
And this Operation Scorpion, what do you call it?
Operation Scorpion is still ongoing, and
still
as I
on?
speak, there's a mobile court ongoing at Ojota.
How long is this
now.
Operation Scorpion
It's
going
still
to take?
run for about a week or
A week or demo. All right, then. Mala, it's nice having you in the studio. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
sir.
All right, she's a Public Enlightenment Officer. I'm talking about Mala Jesutomipe. She's Public Enlightenment Officer for Federal Road Safety Corps right here in Lagos. And this is where we'll be terminating the conversation this morning, which was put together by the Shippers Council. It's all geared towards safety on our roads and bringing some levels of standardization as shipment of goods across Nigeria, and I hope we'll be able to touch on this subject matter very, very well. I want to say a very big thank you to Rekia Zuberu of the Shippers Council, also to Rebecca Adamu, not forgetting the Executive Secretary Hassan Bello for putting this discourse in place and ensuring that we have advancement within the maritime sector. All right, Folashade Adirimu has produced Maritime Today. All right, I'm out. My name is Victor Oteri, but still very much with it. 10:15, you can catch us up as we reflect on resumption of schools right here in Lagos.